everybody, welcome back to the Sales on Demand show. This is Adam, of course, the one and only. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 months to double your print on demand business, and this is episode 116. I believe that's the number I wrote down here, so that's the one I'm going with. It's been a great summer, and it's over now. I just wanted to reflect on a few things that have happened this summer because I am pretty happy with the way that things have been going. And I mean, there's just been so many things that I've been thinking about that I just want to share with you guys. But I'll start with just a recap of last week's podcast where I talked about health-related stuff and how to keep yourself healthy while you are working from home or while you are working, a full-time job and doing a print-on-demand business at the same time. So I just keep thinking about this, and I'm still really, really fixated on the health angle of my business. So I thought I'd share with you a few things that I'm doing to keep myself healthy and fit and make sure that, I'm going to be around to see my kids grow up and to enjoy the money that I'm making from my print-on-demand business. So right now, I'm actually standing up. I went out and purchased one of these standing desks, and I honestly love it. I didn't have to replace my regular desk. Instead, what I did is I just put this thing on top of my desk, and it just raises up and lowers down whenever I want it to, and it's really easy to use. Just put the monitor on top. It's got a little tray for your keyboard. It's extremely handy, and I'm very, very, very glad that I've got it because I can alternate standing and sitting, which kind of gives me some options in terms of instead of sitting all day or standing all day, I can kind of alternate between the two. So I'm very happy with this standing desk. Highly recommend it. I can kind of shuffle around while I'm talking to people. I can type while standing. It's really not that hard to do. There's a spot for your mouse here. Highly recommended. They're usually about $100, maybe $150. I think it's very good to not be sitting down all day long. Very important for your health. So the next thing that I've been doing is intermittent fasting, and I know it's kind of a hipster thing to do. It's kind of this fad diet thing, but hear me out. I have been slowly gaining weight, despite the fact that I'm working out probably 4 to 5 times a week. I'm noticing that my weight is creeping up, and it was going down when I was really active earlier in the summer, and then things kind of slowed down for me. I wasn't able to do as much running and weightlifting, and I started to see my weight creep up again. And I thought, well, this is not ideal, and it just seems so hard. Like I'm running probably 15 to 20 kilometers a week. I'm in the gym, another 2 to 3 sessions a week, and I'm still gaining a little bit of weight. And I know it's not muscle because I can see it in the mirror, right? If it were muscle, then I would be seeing more muscle definition in the mirror. And instead I can see that I still have like a decent amount of body fat. I've got my body fat tested, and it's like, okay, I'm at 16% body fat. So I'd like to drop that down to like 13 or 14% and lose about 10 pounds of like visceral fat. So that's the fat that's in between your organs. So I want to lose a bunch of that mostly because it'll improve my athletic performance. And that's kind of what I'm after. I just want to be as fit as humanly possible. Whatever that takes, I'm willing. I mean, not whatever that takes, but anything that I can do to achieve that is going to be something to look at. So I've started doing basically an 8-hour window where I'll eat during the 8 hours, and then I just don't eat outside of that. So my window is going to be noon to 8. This is day 2 or 3 for me, and so far I'm feeling pretty good. I have a cup of black coffee in the morning, and I eat lunch at noon, and then I eat, a late dinner or something like that, and I feel pretty good. And the results that other people have reported have also been quite promising. So I feel like this is the way to go for me. It's not too extreme. I know there are some people who do intermittent fasting and they'll just not eat for 2 days a week. I can't do that. I'm just, not eating for a full 24 hours. It's pretty drastic. It's good for you. There's no question that it's good for you, but I mean, it's a pretty drastic way to go. And doing it every single week is just, it's not ideal for me. So I've decided to go with the 8-16 is what they call it. So I'll just, there's an 8-hour window every day that I can eat. That's quite a bit of time for me to get in lots of calories. 2 big meals during that, 8 hours is perfect. And then, of course, a lot of people will drink just some unsweetened and unflavored tea first thing in the morning. And you can pretty much coast on that until lunch. I'll let you guys know if I lose any weight from this. And, of course, I'm still continuing to run and work out, so that's probably going to help as well. I just wanted to talk about some health-related stuff before we get into this week's topic, which is going to be 3 months to double your print-on-demand business. So basically, I'm going to be talking about what to do for the upcoming Christmas season. If you've been listening to my podcast for any length of time, you'll know that I pretty much do this every year around September. I talk about the practical things that you can do, like right now, to get out there and start building your Q4 sales. Christmas is freaking awesome. I love Christmas. Not just because it's kind of a fun cultural thing, but because people are buying my products at a rate that they just don't buy any other time of year. Christmas is, I don't know, I would say it's between 40 and 60% of the total sales that you're going to get in any given 12-month period. The 40 to 60% of that, and sometimes even higher than that. It could be as high as 70% of the sales that you'll get. It's so easy to sell things during Christmas. Products that you launch can make a sale the next day. During a season when everyone else is basically scrapped for money, they're like, oh man, how am I going to buy Christmas presents for my kids this year? I can barely even afford food. And especially considering all of the inflation that's happened in the last 12 months, which is not transitory inflation, as has now been announced by, somebody came out, the Bank of, or maybe the Federal Reserve chairman came out and said that inflation looks like it's not transitory anymore. But by the way, transitory means that it comes and goes, right? So prices go up and then go back down. But the latest inflation numbers are basically proving that these price rises are going to be permanent. So the price of gasoline is not going back down. The price of food is not going back down. The price of lumber is not going back down. And we're just going to have to deal with that. So all of these prices are going to be going up in the next 12 months and already have been going up. So you're going to need more income. And you're going to need to start saving that income in order to build your print-on-demand business. So I've got a couple tips here, things that you're going to do that you should be doing in the next 3 months that if you follow through on this, whatever you are doing right now, you're going to double your results by doing these 3 things. I feel pretty confident in guaranteeing that you would double your results. Now, if you're already making $100,000 a year with print on demand, you're going to have to do a lot of these 3 things to double your results. If you're making, $5,000 or $6,000 a year with print on demand, then it's pretty easy to double your results because, doubling 1 is easier than doubling 10. But wherever you are in your print on demand business, maybe you're a newbie, maybe you're kind of intermediate, these are things that are going to make a huge difference in your business. And if you don't start doing them right now, by the time you think about it in October, it's going to be too late to do anything about it. So let's get into this. Of course, as always, I'm going to give you some updates on my own sales numbers. So far on Amazon this year, I'm doing all right. I'm down a little bit from last year, which is totally expected because I haven't been restocking my products the way that I should have. And last year was a pandemic year, so it was pretty good. Most sellers are reporting that 2021 isn't as good as 2020, which is totally to be expected, but it's still going to be a good year. And unless you're a high-level seller and you're selling like $500,000 a year, every single year, it is almost inevitable that you will continue to grow your business year after year after year. So far this year, I've got around $35,000 total in sales on both Amazon and Etsy. And I wanted to also report on crypto, which is going bananas. I don't know if it's going bananas, but it certainly has been recovering from its little crash there. So I have a crypto bot that I trade crypto in, and I started with $4,100 US dollars, and now it's up to almost $5,600. So it went down. It was as low as $2,600, and then now it's back up to about $5,600, and it keeps showing a pretty steady, increase, daily increase of around 1%, which doesn't sound like much, but 1% every day compounds very quickly over time. So I'm probably going to keep adding to that bot. Maybe I'll get it to 10,000 and just leave it, let it keep going. But yeah, crypto is pretty volatile, so you're really playing in a risky field here. But $5,000 for me isn't, super critical, and I'm happy to just leave the money there. I don't need it right now, and if I just leave it there, even if it goes down, it always comes back up. Not that that's guaranteed or anything, but that's what I'm seeing. So I'm happy to just sit there and wait. I've got time, right? I'm not relying on income from crypto to pay my bills, so I can afford to leave my money and just let it sit there and go up and down and up and down. But over time, keep going up. So that's what I'm doing right now, and it appears to be working pretty good. So I'm happy with my investments. Also, going to be starting to invest again in silver and gold, physical precious metals, the kind that you can hold in your hand and look at. There's just nothing quite as awesome as seeing a gold coin sitting in the middle of your palm and thinking, this is real, like 99.999% pure gold. I've even got my kids on board. My son is like, you promised you'd buy me a gold coin 2 years ago and you never did. And I said, okay, yeah, you're right. Because 2 years ago I was broke. I had no money. But now, I've got enough money that I can start buying my kids some silver and gold. So that's what I'm going to do. And they're just as happy to get silver and gold as presents as they are to get, paper money. So I think I've done a pretty good job of training them what real money looks like. And I feel pretty good about that. So let's start talking about what we're going to do here. So number one, the first thing that you should be doing. So this applies to any physical products business, regardless of what you're selling, but mostly to gift items and especially before holidays. So I wanted to just start by telling you guys that print on demand is not about selling t-shirts, coffee mugs, travel mugs, tumblers, and stuff like that. We're not selling t-shirts. We're not selling coffee mugs. Stop thinking of yourself as being a supplier of t-shirts and coffee mugs. What you are selling is a gift, okay? And it's more ethereal than simply a coffee mug. I can go to Walmart or the dollar store and buy a coffee mug for like $2. Coffee mugs are cheap, and they're widely available. Everybody in the world has a cupboard full of them. I've had to start basically throwing away coffee mugs that I don't use because I've got too many of them. So stop thinking of yourself as selling physical products that people need. These are things that people want. And they're not practical items. They are emotional purchases that people make based on one thing and one thing only. What is printed on the product? And who is it for? So that is what you're selling, right? So you're selling emotions. You're selling the love between a daughter and her father. You're selling a newlywed couple commemorating the day they got married. You're selling Somebody commemorating the day that they beat cancer. You're selling a person commemorating a pet that they lost, and they want a picture of them on a mug so that they can remember this pet. The things that you sell, these people are oftentimes, they're not even going to use these products. They're going to keep that mug on a shelf, and they're not going to dare take it off for fear that it might get smashed, right? I mean, we are selling things that people are going to treasure for, their entire lives. So start thinking about that as what you sell, and you will realize that there is tremendous value in that. The reason that people will buy a coffee mug for $20 is because they treasure the person that they're giving the gift to, and they want to make them smile. They want to make them maybe cry out of love, smile. They want them to laugh. They're just trying to evoke an emotional reaction, and that's what you should be aiming for. So you've got to start testing these things now. You should be building a testing routine that involves launching new products 3 times per week if you can. If you have to get a virtual assistant involved, then get a virtual assistant involved, because testing is vital. Even if, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you still should be testing. So this year I'll probably start running some, just some really low budget ads. So maybe I might start doing some paid advertisement on Google and some paid ads maybe some ads on Facebook if I can get a domain verified and do some stuff like that. Facebook ads haven't been really top performing in the last, probably in the last 12 months. They've really taken a nosedive in terms of their actual performance, but there are still people making money selling coffee mugs, t-shirts, jewelry, and stuff on Facebook, and sometimes from Gear Bubble, sometimes it's from Shine On. Sometimes they just print it at home and ship it out to their customers, or they've built a printing facility that they ship from. So no matter what, that's all print on demand, but you have to keep testing these ideas to see what the marketplace loves. The number one thing that sellers do is they just fail to test enough. I just saw on one of the Facebook pages that I moderate the other day, somebody posted a sample, an example of something that they created. And they said, well, what do you guys think about this product? Is it a good product? And I said, well, it looks okay to me, but I'm not going to buy it, right? I'm not your marketplace. The only way for you to really know if something is going to sell is to offer it for sale, either advertise it or put it on Facebook, or not Facebook, but Amazon and Etsy, put good keywords on it, and just see if someone buys it. If they buy it, then they like it. That is the only test that matters. Asking me for my opinion on something, it can give you a decent idea of whether something's good or not. And I can usually spot things that I think are going to sell well. But the truest test of any product is, are people buying it? That is the only thing that matters to me. I don't care about conversion rate, right? As long as I'm making profits on a particular item, that is the only metric that matters to me. So you should be testing products right now. So get out there, find some of the top selling trends. If you have to hire somebody to create designs for you, that's, you can hire people on Fiverr. It is much easier, though, to create your own designs if you have any kind of talent and time available, especially for just selling coffee mugs. Usually the top selling products are all text-based. T-shirts may be a little bit more elaborate. Other types of items might have more elaborate designs than that. But unless you're sending a product for FBA, there's no reason necessarily to pay someone to make a design. So you got to start testing right now. Point number 2, and this is something that I've kind of slacked on this year, is you've got 2 months to get your Amazon stock to Amazon. You got about 2 months to do that. So in my course, the Print on Demand A to Z, I talk about how to use Amazon FBA to make thousands of dollars in basically a day. So over the last, 3 or 4 Christmases, I have basically been making thousands of dollars every single day just with Amazon FBA. It is dead simple to send stock to Amazon. Amazon ships it out. People love Amazon FBA. It is probably the number one thing that you can use to scale up your business with print on demand. Now, I know that it's not technically print on demand when you pre-print something and send it to Amazon. I don't really care because it's profitable and, it's easy to do. There's no customer service. You don't have to worry about missed shipments. You don't have to worry about returns. Amazon handles all of that for you. You just send them the stock. Of course, the difficult part is which products should I send and which ones should I not send. So picking the kinds of products to send to Amazon is a very important part of selling print on demand through Amazon. And I do talk about that in my course. And of course, if you guys want to join my training program, you're going to find that at salesondemandshow.com/start. There'll also be a link in the show notes for you guys to join. There is still a discount ongoing. I basically have just lowered the price of the course to about $300. And, honestly, I'm going to probably raise the price of that course because my time has become much more valuable to me in the last little while. Just with all of the content that I've created, I've got so much out there. I've learned so much in the last year that I'm just going to have to raise my price to account for all of the value that I'm adding to this program. But right now, it's still out there. It's still pretty cheap to buy it. So get it while I'm stupid, right? I've kept the price low. Haven't really cared about, raising the price yet. So if you guys want to jump in on this before I raise the price, get in there now, because I'll probably do that closer to Christmas. So yeah, get in your Amazon FBA stock. The easiest way to do that is to send small quantities in like a box of 36, and there is a company that does that called Custom Happy. And I talk about that in my training course. I tell you how to order small quantities in a box, send them for testing to Amazon. Basically, the more SKUs, the more listings that you have with Amazon that are FBA, the more money you're going to make over Christmas. It's basically, I'm not going to say it's mathematically certain, but it's what I'm seeing in my own business. More products, more sales. So, okay, the last thing to talk about here is customization. As I've mentioned before, and I'm pretty sure I've spent, hours talking about customization, it is, on Etsy, it is the number one search. Personalized and personalization is the number one search on Etsy, and a quarter or more of the products that are sold on Etsy are actually personalized. So when you consider that, very few of the listings on Etsy are personalized. Most of the listings on Etsy are products that can't be personalized, right? They're just, this is what you get when you order this product. But, when you start offering personalization, each listing is worth so much more because people just love personalization that much. And on Etsy, personalization is the king. It just rules everything else. Now, I do personalize products on Amazon as well. It is a little bit harder to get traction on Amazon with personalization, but I do have a strategy to do that as well that I talk about in my training course, of course, as where I talk about everything. But customization is the fastest way to get an Etsy store up and rolling. 100 really, really highly targeted customized listings on Etsy could potentially, provide like a full-time income over Christmas. I have heard of people, and myself, I've experienced this, where you've got just a few customized listings and you get almost all of your sales from those customized listings. You get a decent, maybe 60% of my sales over Christmas were customized listings. So people love personalization. They want gifts, for their grandparents. They want gifts that commemorate, people who have died. Elaborate or simple, it doesn't really seem to matter that much. You can do a lot with customization. So you can do really complex designs, or you can do really simple ones where you just put someone's name in on top of some kind of poem or something like that. So there's lots of options with that, and of course I talk about that in my training program, but you should start thinking about it now. The easiest way to find good topics to personalize around is to just look and see what is already selling on Etsy, and then make your own version of a personalized product for that particular topic. So like beating cancer, buying a new house, anniversaries, engagements, weddings, first Christmas with my girlfriend, first Christmas with my wife. There's probably 1,000 different ways to put this and angle it. And you can also do customization through advertising as well. It's really, really effective. Most of the mugs that I see that are advertised on Facebook are personalized mugs. There are some companies that are doing really well with personalization using coffee mugs, which are, generally speaking, they're a pretty low profit item, so it's hard to make them profitable with, advertising on Facebook. But there are several companies that are doing it effectively, so it still works. If somebody's doing it, then it works. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. That's all basically it for today. I hope to see you guys coming back week after week. Don't forget, if you like this podcast, you can find it not just on Spotify, not just on Apple, but you can find it directly at salesondemandshow.com. I'm not always very quick at updating the episodes on that site, so I'm sorry about that. But join my I've got a YouTube channel as well, so you can listen to this podcast on YouTube in addition to the millions of other places that it's available. So you could basically just stalk me on every platform that I'm on, but as long as you're writing 5-star reviews for me, I am perfectly happy for you guys to stalk me. So take care of yourselves. Cheers. We'll see you next week.